meeting that profound love in your life can act as a catalyst, and it can flip your world upside down in a way because you had not previously experienced a love that was that deep. And a lot of love in this world can seem very flat, very just not satisfying of your deepest needs. But there are those souls, when you meet them, they feel like home, they feel like a sanctuary. And I think these souls, however you conceptualize it, but they may be an aspect of your oversoul. So if, let's say, for argument's sake, there were 20 branches of your oversoul, or 10, or whatever, so it's like your higher soul or higher self split into 10 people in human form. And it's just an idea. I'm not telling you like that is the way it is, but you could think of it that way, because those are the people that literally, when you meet them, the first second, they feel like home. They feel like a sanctuary. And this can remind you of home, literally, your soul's home, your truest and purest essence. So this can be a highly activating experience and sort of crash and crumble and shatter everything you previously thought about love. And this is not an easy experience if you've, signed up to do this, or however your soul's plan works out, because now that you know that this kind of love exists, it's actually much harder in one way to exist in the world, because you just don't want to settle for anything else, and you're like, wow, this is the greatest love. I can't even imagine living without this kind of love. And I think being opened to that is very much like an initiation, because it's initiating you and opening you to a deeper part of your power. And not everyone's up for that work. It's very explosive and deconstructing, and basically it strips down everything that you thought was love, rooted in attachment, rooted in codependency. And that's annoying, keep flying right over the head. And you realize, oh, this is like, that person, if you had that catalytic experience and broke up with that person, it's activating you and showing you a deeper part of your heart. It's showing you a deeper part of your own divinity and God's love. So then in that shattering, in that grief, and in that realizing, I don't want to let that go, that's so profound, I'll never have something so magical and so much like shattering me open and opening me up to a different dimension, so the higher love can pour through, because it's like you, the lover, and then the third dance partner, which is really the divine. God is flowing through you. But it can almost seem like, with a profound deep love, like you created an alternate universe together. You're like, wow, that kind of exists like outside of space and time. It's hard to really, I don't know when. Is it in the past, or is it just sort of floating in the ethers in some alternate timeline? Like, because if that person is the same aspect of your soul, but there might be several different aspects of your soul that you could potentially meet in one lifetime. But I think the most important thing is to realize that it opened you to a part of yourself that you wouldn't previously realize. And a lot of people, they don't get it. I think that the going definition of what love is in this world is so just shallow, like you're a mannequin or like you're a doll. You just show up for the wedding, you buy the ring, you have the kids, you do what you're told, you show up at the holidays, be with family, take pictures. It's robotic and soulless. But for those that can, let's say, hear that music, hear more of that real love, let's just call it, you yearn and you hunger for that, you thirst for that love, that real love, not only in a romantic partnership but in friends and in that soul family, because everything else seems soulless and flat, like there's nothing there, like you're just dancing, you're just tap dancing. That's how most of the world feels. So I have less and less patience for it, to do the tap dance and to do the kind of wear the clown mask in clown world. But it's catalyzing, and you're realizing a part of yourself, and you're also realizing that that love resides in you and in the other person. And not to say it's not lonely when you don't have your soul family members. You know, if you've always had that homesickness, if you've always had that loneliness, you've always felt like you don't really belong here, most people don't really mesh, like they don't really subscribe to your version of love. They have a brand of love that's kind of like being in the world and whatever, but it feels shallow, it feels conditional, it feels transactional, it feels like you're having to dumb yourself down, you know? And it's weird because it humbles you too when you've tasted that kind of love with someone, and you realize, wow, this is the miracle of God. Like, this is the miracle of love through this person that needed to show me. And that can bring up a lot of triggers. It can bring up a lot of pain. It can bring up a lot of fear. It can bring up a lot of like lashing out. And because it's so deep and it's so intense and it's so all consuming, that it shatters your world in the most like intoxicating way of this otherworldly thing that you've never truly tasted before. And so that can bring out messy sides of people and cause them to act in ways that they normally wouldn't. And it's unfortunate and it's sad, and you wish you could go back and redo things or do things over or be more present or be stronger, have more of your wits about you, or operate in a more selfless way and say, I couldn't see that, I couldn't see the other person's side of it. You know, I was too in my own crap. I was blinded. So there was a bias and a distortion in my vision. And you wish you could, you know, but you have to realize you were doing the best with what you had at the time. And I feel like with all relationships, I feel, you know, and, you know, you wish you could say, I'm sorry, because I was doing the best with what I had at the time. And all you can do is go forward and learn from it and say, I'm going to be a better person in the world, be more present, be more like understanding of the sacred in another. And you realize how much your trauma was running the show. So it's all valuable. It's not easy to look at that. It's not easy to look inside yourself and be in the wreckage and be in the rubble, because I feel like for me, love is it's such a massive explosion, and it's like in the aftermath, you're picking up the rubble and the blast radius of what was destroyed, and it's like you have to every day heal your heart, come back and reform your soul, like get your feet back on the ground of earth, really, because you've experienced this profound and life-changing love. And you almost can't conceive of living without it, because it's so deep and it's so home, like it's so real, like it's sanctuary. It's such a deep love, and it's pure and real, unlike most things in this world that are fake and masks and all these things, you know. And that's the way I think of it. Like, for a while after experiencing a love like that, it's like couldn't let anyone get too close to me in any way. Like, not romantically, not friends, not family, not anyone. Like a protective shield or bubble around me, because you're so delicate and so fragile. You feel like a shattered glass vase, or just shattered and destroyed, and you have to like rebuild your soul brick by brick from the ashes. You're reformed. You feel like you've been broken into nothing. You're in this void, free falling. I have nothing. I'm empty. And that's the place where you trust God to rebuild you in truer form. And it's really like all you can do, because you're just, what else are you going to do, really? You got to keep living. You got to keep moving. You got to keep just being open to let God flow through you. And then to really forgive and to really let it go, that's hard too, because there's just a lot of the ego crap, and but realizing it's just painful and it's hard, and the pain can cause people to act in ways that they wouldn't normally act and hurt each other, and but it really does humble you, really, when you have something like that taken away, pulled away, and suddenly, and you have to be your own best friend in that healing process. You have to be your own confidant, your own motivational speaker, your own coach every day, because things feel hopeless. Things feel like hollowed, shattered out. And it's like, this really is a perspective shifter, because you realize what's really important. Okay, money is never going to really fulfill me. Achievement's never going to really fulfill me. They're great as like cherries on top and icing on the cake, and you want to do well in life and provide for your family and all that, of course, and that's valid. But as a real core part of existence, what do I need for fulfillment? To respect myself, to honor who I am, to become my truest self, hopefully align with another that does, and others that are on a similar mission. But it just causes you to do a lot of that soul searching, and taking the pickaxe, taking the hammer and the chisel, and just working away at all this deep, nasty stuff inside you. And 2025 was such a transformative year for me. And I'm no stranger to the, dark nights of the soul, and, the underworld. And that's like, where I do my work. Like I know that's part of my purpose and my mission, but even still, 2025 was just on an entirely different level of pain and difficulty, and sort of rebuilding these soul fragments and retrieving my soul and from the grief, and building it back up from the rock bottom. And it's profound, because you're like, man, I didn't think I was gonna make it through that in one piece. I didn't think I was gonna get, reconstructed. Thought I was just gonna like be broken forever. I didn't know if I was gonna pull myself out of that one. But who did, really? Like, God pulled me out of it, in combination with my steps and my daily activities and my daily healing, and having an intent to see the love in people and life, and have optimism, and even if you can't feel it for a really long time, like you can, or you almost lose your faith in people. You lose your faith in love, and it's a lot. Like, it's no easy task to find the faith again, find the hope again. I know people in modern culture make it seem very simple, like this militant positivity cliche that is just recycled. Just think positive thoughts and just make more money and 10x your sales, and this soulless thing. But why? Like, but what? Like, where am I drawing on my fuel? Where am I drawing on my inspiration? I just am so sick of that flat crap that's just so soulless. And it's beautiful out here today. The sun just came out. It was raining before. Um, so pulling yourself out of that deep, dark hell is really, really hard. And there's days and months and years even where you can't see the hope. You can't. You just have to trust God. That's where the faith comes in. Trust yourself and give it over to that eternal power, that eternally sustaining power. And then have faith in hope and love again, and realize that those aspects of God, those aspects of miracles are out there. They're just in different fragments and different fractals and different little, they're split off into different parts of the world and different people. And, will I find a love, as great of a love like that ever again, And then there's a lot of humbling when you come back to yourself and your own heart and all the pain and all the nastiness inside there. That a decent portion of it may not even have to do anything with the other person. It's just crap inside you that's like still traumatized from childhood or wherever. And it's humbling, and you realize, okay, like it's not all about me. Like the universe doesn't exist to serve me. I mean, I'm in a dance with the universe, but I have to give love, I have to serve, I have to like be useful, I have to like give something. I can't just expect everything to show up at my doorstep. I have to like be on a mission. I have to be of value, be of service to others. And that work, that daily work in yourself and then in service or in communication with others is the joy, the journey, and the daily work. The daily work is the thing that satisfies me. If people receive it, people give me feedback, we connect hearts, these type of things, that's the cherry on top, like that's the icing on the cake. But the work is for the sake of the work, because it feels good to do acts of love towards yourself and just stay in the routine, whether physical exercise or, your mission, your purpose, your artistic expression, your all these things. So glimpsing love in another who's kind of like that resonant soul family member, that aspect of your oversoul where it's so familiar, it's like a sanctuary, it feels like home, is a really profound experience, and it flips your world upside down. I don't know, it could be another way. You could never have this experience, never grow, just stay at the surface, just be happy all the time. Like, I don't want that. I don't want to be one of those people that's like frozen in the robotic misery of like emotional repression and just blahness, And those people aren't really aware that they even are, because they've never seen outside the 10 by 10 cell anyway of their reality. But whatever, I guess it's what we signed up for. Just get cracked open a million times by God, have my heart shattered into a million pieces. I know I can be a little dramatic too. That there's that side of me, a little bit theatrical by nature. But it's all bringing you back into that core heart of existence in God, and we just need to keep having hope every day and realize that it's a gift to glimpse that love, even if there's tons of pain that comes along with it, and then you say goodbye to a person. It's such a gift to glimpse that love. And how much has your life been enhanced just knowing that level of love exists, and then having that as like a point of, that's Mount Humphreys over there. But, to say it as like your Everest or your North Star. And now it's like I can strive towards that level of love in myself and others in life. And it's a gift, and just have to keep transforming the pain into love. And I believe there's nothing you cannot surmount. There is no pain, there is no hardship, there is no obstacle that cannot be transformed into greater love. And I believe that's why we're here. We're here to understand that power that eternal power and our resilience as souls, and that our hearts can transform anything. We are indestructible in that way. We are eternal spirits. Thank you.